Mariana Trench. Mariana Trench is the deepest point in all oceans, 7 miles of water above the bottom. The pressure down there could crush a submarine like a tin can. Only a few people have ever been there. The rest remains completely dark and unexplored. Down at the bottom, things exist that shouldn't be possible. Fish with transparent heads. You can see their brains through their skulls. Creatures with no eyes because light has never reached them. Giant single-celled organisms the size of bowling balls. Scientists don't know how they survive. In 2014, a submersible found sounds down there. Deep metallic groans, like something massive moving in the darkness. They still don't know what made those sounds. The ocean floor is covered in white sediment. Nothing should live there. But video footage shows tracks, long drag marks across the seafloor. Something is moving down there, something big enough to leave trails. The cameras never caught what made them. At those depths, the water is thick, almost syrup-like. Movement is slow and deliberate. Whatever lives down there has adapted to crushing pressure that would kill anything from the surface instantly. Strange lights appear in the darkness, bioluminescent flashes, but not from known species. The patterns are wrong. They pulse in sequences that suggest communication. In 2016, researchers picked up sounds that match no known marine life, clicking patterns, almost like Morse code. The trench might contain intelligent life we've never documented. Lake Vostok. Lake Vostok sits under 2.5 miles of Antarctic ice. It's been sealed off for 15 million years. The lake is 160 miles long, completely untouched by sunlight or outside air since before humans existed. Russian scientists drilled down and pulled up water samples. What they found was impossible. The water contains bacteria that shouldn't exist, DNA sequences that don't match anything in any database. Some of the organisms have 95% more genes than they should. Scientists think they evolved in complete isolation, adapting to conditions we can't replicate. The water is also loaded with oxygen, way more than it should have. Something down there is producing it, but there's no sunlight for photosynthesis. Sonar scans show something moving in the lake. Large objects, bigger than whales, moving in patterns. They rise to the surface, then dive back down. The Russian team detected magnetic anomalies, massive concentrations of metal deep in the lake. Could be natural deposits, or could be something else. The scans show geometric patterns, too regular to be random. The ice above the lake is ancient. Core samples show it formed when Earth's atmosphere was completely different. Whatever is in that water has been breathing different air than us, evolving under different conditions. The bacteria they found can survive temperatures that would boil water. They can survive radiation that would kill humans instantly. Lake Vostok might contain the most alien life on Earth. Veryovkina Cave. Veryovkina Cave is the deepest cave on Earth. It drops 7,257 feet straight down, over a mile of vertical descent into complete darkness. Only a handful of people have reached the bottom. The cave is filled with things that defy explanation. The walls are covered in strange formations, crystals that glow faintly in pitch black. Scientists don't know what makes them luminescent. No known mineral does this. The deeper sections have waterfalls that fall upward, reversed by air pressure differentials. Water flows up the walls defying gravity. The sound is disorienting, like the cave is breathing. At 4,000 feet down, explorers found ecosystems that exist without sunlight. Pale white creatures with no pigmentation, spiders with legs a foot long, translucent fish in underground pools. These species have never been cataloged. They exist in a world that's been isolated for millions of years. Some of the organisms don't match known evolutionary patterns. They have features from completely different animal families. The deepest chambers contain ice formations, but the temperature is above freezing. The ice shouldn't exist there. It's not normal ice either. It doesn't melt under heat. Scientists took samples. The molecular structure is wrong. At the very bottom there's a lake, perfectly still. Black water that doesn't reflect light. Divers who tested it reported strange sensations. Feeling watched, hearing sounds underwater that had no source. The water temperature fluctuates wildly. Warm, then freezing, then warm again. Nothing explains the changes. Tonga Trench. Tonga Trench is the second deepest ocean trench. It runs 850 miles along the Pacific seafloor. Less than 1% has been explored. The parts we've seen are terrifying. The trench sits on the ring of fire. Underwater volcanoes are erupting down there constantly, venting superheated water and toxic gas. The wildlife is prehistoric. Megamouth sharks patrol the depths. Sharks so rare only 100 have ever been seen. They have bioluminescent mouths that glow to attract prey. Frilled sharks with 300 teeth swim there. They look exactly like fossils from 80 million years ago. Scientists thought they were extinct. They're not. They're thriving in the trench. In 2009, researchers detected sounds from the trench. Deep vibrations at frequencies that travel hundreds of miles. The sounds repeat. Every 14 hours. Always the same pattern. No one knows the source. Could be geological, could be biological. The pattern suggests intention, like a signal. The vibrations are strong enough to shake equipment on ships above. Cameras lowered into the trench capture footage of massive shapes moving past, just silhouettes. Too big to be whales, too fast to be geological. In one video, something with dozens of limbs passes the camera. Each limb is 30 feet long. The creature is gone in seconds. No known species matches it. The trench floor is covered in vents pumping out chemicals. The water around them is toxic. But life clusters there. Tube worms 10 feet tall. Crabs with shells like armor plating, things that feed on sulfur and thrive in boiling acidic water. Congo Basin. Congo Basin is the second largest rainforest on Earth, over 1 million square miles. Most of it has never been mapped. Satellite imagery shows the canopy but not what's beneath. The interior is completely unknown. The few expeditions that went in came back with stories that sound impossible. The jungle is so dense that sunlight never reaches the ground. Everything exists in permanent twilight. The forest floor is covered in fungi that glow faintly, creating a dim, greenish light. Scientists don't know the species. They've never been cataloged. The air is thick with spores. Breathing feels heavy. Some team members reported hallucinations after days inside, seeing things moving in the shadows. Uncontacted tribes live in the deep interior. They've had no contact with the outside world, ever. Their language is unknown. Their culture undocumented. Anthropologists estimate there could be 100 such tribes. Some might not even know other humans exist outside the forest. In 2017, a drone flew over the interior, captured footage of massive clearings, perfectly circular, hundreds of feet across. Nothing grows there. The dirt is different, darker. Analysis shows the soil is sterile. Nothing can grow there. The clearings are too perfect to be natural. The wildlife is bizarre. In 2012, researchers found a species of chimp that walks upright, exclusively. They don't knuckle walk like other chimps. They stand and walk like humans. The footage is unsettling. They use tools in ways chimps shouldn't be able to, creating spears, building structures. There are reports of large unknown primates, gorilla-sized but different, moving through the canopy instead of on the ground. Locals call them different names in different regions, but the descriptions match. Greenland ice sheet. Greenland ice sheet covers 660,000 square miles. The ice is up to 2 miles thick. Beneath it is rock, valleys, mountains, lakes, an entire landscape frozen in time. Ground-penetrating radar shows structures under the ice, geometric patterns, too regular to be natural formations. In 2018, researchers found a massive crater under the ice, 19 miles wide, caused by a meteorite impact. But the crater is pristine, perfectly preserved. It hit recently, maybe 13,000 years ago. That's nothing in geological time. The impact would have been catastrophic, melting massive amounts of ice, flooding coastlines worldwide. Some scientists think this impact caused ancient flood myths. The ice cores reveal something stranger, trapped air bubbles from millions of years ago. The atmosphere was completely different, but some bubbles contain modern air. Air from our current atmosphere, somehow mixed into ancient ice. The cores also contain microbes, frozen for millions of years. When thawed, they come back to life. Ancient bacteria that shouldn't be compatible with modern ecosystems. Beneath the ice sheet, radar detects lakes, liquid water existing under miles of ice. The pressure and geothermal heat keep them liquid. These lakes are connected by rivers, flowing beneath the ice. The water is ancient, never exposed to modern atmosphere. Scientists theorize life could exist there, adapted to total darkness and extreme pressure. In 2019, sensors detected movement in these subglacial lakes, large objects moving through the water. The patterns suggest biological activity. Amazon interior. Amazon interior is the deepest part of the Amazon rainforest, areas that have never been entered by outsiders. These zones are protected, inhabited by uncontacted tribes who defend their territory violently. The jungle there is different from the explored regions. Darker, denser, filled with species unknown to science. Camera traps placed at the edge of these zones capture incredible footage. Jaguars that are pure black, no spots, completely melanistic. They're twice the size of normal jaguars, moving through the undergrowth like ghosts. Giant otters 8 feet long, far bigger than known specimens. They hunt in packs, taking down prey much larger than themselves. The trees in the deep interior are massive, some over 300 feet tall, taller than any documented rainforest trees. Their canopies create a second forest layer. Animals live up there that never touch the ground. Species of monkeys never photographed. Sloths with unusual coloring. Birds that don't match any known family. In 2020, acoustic sensors detected sounds from the deep zones, calls that don't match any cataloged animal. Deep whooping sounds, almost like speech. The patterns are complex, too complex to be random. There are stories from tribes at the edge. They speak of things in the deep forest, large bipedal creatures, covered in hair, standing over 7 feet tall. The tribes leave offerings for them, stay out of certain areas. Every culture has similar stories, different names, but the same descriptions. Mapinguari, the forest giant. Scientists dismiss the stories, but the tribes are adamant. They've seen them, interacted with them. Gamburtsev Mountains. Gamburtsev Mountains are buried under Antarctic ice, a mountain range no one has ever seen. The peaks rise 9,000 feet, but they're hidden under 2,000 feet of solid ice. Discovered in 1958 by Russian aircraft using instruments. Since then, we've only studied them with radar. The mountains are impossibly old. They should have eroded millions of years ago, but they're still sharp, jagged peaks like they formed yesterday. Scientists don't understand how they've been preserved. The ice should have worn them down. Something about these mountains defies normal geological processes. Radar scans show structures at the base of the mountains, rectangular shapes, too precise to be natural. Some are hundreds of feet long, perfectly aligned, could be rock formations, or could be something else. The scans also show caverns, massive hollow spaces inside the mountains, some big enough to fit stadiums. The caverns appear to connect, forming a network beneath the ice. In 2013, researchers detected radio signals coming from the mountains. Weak signals, but regular, pulsing at consistent intervals. Natural processes don't create regular radio pulses. The signals could be from magnetic anomalies, or from something transmitting. The mystery deepens because the signals only occur at specific times, always when the sun is at certain positions, like the mountains are responding to solar radiation. The ice above the mountains is different. It has fewer impurities, like it formed faster than surrounding ice, or from different water. Core samples show the ice directly above the peaks contains microscopic metal particles, titanium, chromium, metals that shouldn't be concentrated in ice. The distribution suggests the metals came from below, from the mountains themselves. Some researchers speculate the mountains contain mineral deposits unlike anything we've seen. Others think the mountains might not be natural at all.